good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever and wherever you are. On this week's episode of Greetings From, we discuss mobile games. It's everyone's favorite platform to play on, and no one is mad or upset, and everything is fine. We discuss all the games that we love, and all the games that we love to hate. So grab your phone and get on those apps. It's mobile games. Enjoy!
Greetings, travelers. It is August 4th, 2019, and this is episode 19 of the Greetings From podcast. My name is Rebecca Faye, and I am joined as always by my two very good friends. First, she's someone who hasn't found a dead body playing Pokemon Go yet. Right, Olivia Quinn?
I mean, I would never tell. Maybe I have seen a dead body. I played a lot of Pokemon Go. You don't know where I've been.
I feel like you have to report that stuff. I don't know. I mean, unless you're leaving the bodies, which is like, that's a different Pokemon Go.
If you're not Team Mystic, get the fuck out of my way.
Thank you. Mystic forever.
I'm glad we're on a team here. Unnamed person. What are you?
Actually, no, hold on. I'm totally Team Mystic.
All right, good. You can live.
Perfect.
Are we all? That's, yeah.
Then
It's amazing.
You can sit with us.
Yes, I can.
It's good.
We're all sensitive.
So, hey, Tyler, I heard you like Diablo.
I do. Love it.
Did you know that we also love Diablo so much we decided that we were going to put it in your phone because that's really what you wanted. You wanted a Diablo mobile game, didn't you, Tyler?
I just need my demons on the go. I need to slay.
I need those demons in my speed dial.
Right. I need a speed dial.
If I can't
Diablo.
speed those demons, don't fucking talk to me. How did you feel about that? What is the consensus
Diablo
in the room about the Diablo mobile game?
I mean, like,
yeah. Are we lukewarm? Are we pro? Are we con?
Okay.
What is the Greetings From official stance on the Diablo mobile game?
well, I don't know about greeting from.
No pressure.
I mean, if I'm going to talk for all of us, I'm just going to go ahead and say we're pretty excited for it. I understand that there was initial backlash when it was initially announced at BlizzCon 2018. And people were just like so fucking outraged about the whole situation. Like, how dare they do this to us? The PC gaming community. But I don't know. I think it's going to go over very well. I mean, it's Diablo, and it's... so here's the thing. So I had a friend who was really, really mad and upset that Diablo was coming to mobile. He was like...
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Very angry gamer. Like, totally supported that one dude at the conference who, like, went up and asked a question during the QA and was like, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
I remember that.
Yes, he was like, yeah, my friend was like, yeah, I'm with that guy. Like, fuck them, fuck Blizzard. And I'm like, dude, calm down. You know, it literally was just announced. You don't know anything about the game. He was at BlizzCon also. So, like, he had that herd mentality. And he got his hands on it, and he played the game. And then he was like, you know, the next day, he was like, oh, it's actually okay. I enjoyed it. And I was like, God, you see what you've done? Like, hold your judgment until you actually play the game. So I'm for it. I'm excited for it. I don't have the gamer outrage. I don't know how you guys feel about it. How do you feel about it? What is your take?
I feel that gamers deserve nothing. Nothing for gamers. You all have sinned and I've canceled you.
Counterpoint. Maybe we should just make Diablo 4.
Gamers actually
Diablo
deserve.
4. Well,
Let the gamers sin. Let's let the gamers go to hell in Diablo Immortal. But
Okay.
what if it was Diablo 4? Think about that.
Listen.
What if Diablo Immortal carried over and it was like Fortnite where you had a sinking account. I think we're going to get into this a lot on this fucking podcast, but I kind of feel like it's really important that your progress from your game should sync over from your mobile game. And that's been a really big part of my mobile gaming experience. It's like, hey, if I can just play the same game multiple places, even if it's not the optimal experience, let me at least like bring my shit over from one game to another. So
yes.
If they're going to have Diablo Immortal, let me bring my pets over or whatever. It's probably going to be bad, but it's not for me. I'm fine with it. It'll be whatever it is.
Hey, you put the money into it. You deserve the pet mount. Anyway, if you're just tuning into this part of the podcast, you may have surmised that today we're going to spend a little time talking about mobile games. I've heard it's no better time to be a mobile gamer, what with that there Apple making a games club thing. And, you know, that's it, really. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody probably plays games on their phone.
Are you...
For a long time, they had like... Am I a mobile gamer?
Well, I feel like we are all mobile gamers, but... If you were, the thing about Apple is, if you were a game developer, you know, maybe 3 years ago and released a game, it no longer works on any of the Apple products or like future Apple products, which is amazing.
I will say that this is a good point that you're bringing up because, you know, we kind of gave ourselves this challenge of, you know, let's think about mobile gaming, what it means to us, what we've interacted with in the history of mobile games. And I was going back through my App Store purchases, like back to the dawn of time. And it was just like, there was a very specific point at which it just was like, can't download. And like, I could tell that, I don't know, I felt a little sad almost that I couldn't get my lightsaber app that I had on my iPhone when I got it for the first time when I was in high school. And what about my Zippo lighter app? What about that? Who's going to replace that in my heart?
Where's my champagne cork? You know?
Do you remember before they had flashlights built in? They had like the one that would just make the screen really bright.
Yes. Yep.
Did you guys ever play Infinity Blade?
Yes.
I actually really liked Infinity Blade.
Yes.
Wasn't that like
it's no longer available?
Oh shit! Really?
It's not. I don't think you can get it anymore, right?
They took it off the App Store apparently.
Well, isn't there like a new one though?
Aww.
Like I swear I just saw. Maybe it's a knockoff one because that happens.
Nah, baby, we're playing. It's all about that Fortnite money now. Epic doesn't give a fuck about Infinity Blade.
I guess you're right.
Forget about their past.
I guess you're right.
But I guess you can play Fortnite on your phone or whatever.
That sucks.
There was an Infinity
played...
Game arcade game, if I remember correctly. There was at least one instance of Infinity Blade going to an arcade, and it's gone now. It's scrubbed from the history books. I may have made this up. It may have been a very similar game to the Infinity Blade, but I'm upset.
Allegedly, Infinity Blade went to an arcade, so you can say that with no fear. So I think this is a good example of the fact that mobile gaming could be a total weird trash fire of an existence because things that you bought 3 years ago no longer work. And, you know, a lot of apps were built in the beginning to give functionality to phones that now just have that built in. And so somehow I already feel old. Like I already feel like, oh, you kids in your iPhones that have a flashlight built in. Well, back in the day, 6 years ago, I had to get an app that made my screen bright because I couldn't do it by myself. Ugh.
I bet you kids didn't even use a shotgun app on your phone. Fools.
Oh man.
So I don't know how long would you say you guys have been using smartphones with app capable? Because I've had an iPhone since I was probably in a junior or senior in high school, maybe a senior. So maybe I'm coming up on like 10 years of app availability. What about you, Olivia? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I got my first because I remember I was going on a trip and I got a smartphone because I was going to DC and I needed a map, and I was like, finally, I can join the smartphone with my Droid, whatever, the one with Droid, and that was
I remember that.
Yeah, it was like the one that you could like, it was a Motorola and you could like pop it out and had a keyboard built in it, and I thought it was like the hottest fucking shit because it was like,
Hell yeah.
I mean, you were it truly.
Yeah. And it was like 2009, 2010, so that's like 10 years ago exactly. Oh god,
I think that was about 2009, 2010 was when I got an iPhone. What about you, Tyler? About the same?
Yeah, roughly the same. I feel like it was definitely either when I was, because it was probably when I was like a junior in high school or even a senior. I want to say, I mean, I had the Sidekick. But I feel like the Sidekick was, I don't really remember it being apps. I don't remember it until I got like the Google phone, the very first one, the Nexus, whatever. I think it was just the Nexus. And like that's when it was like really like, oh, apps, you know, things, because Apple was so far ahead of the like Android, I think, in terms of applications and whatnot. Like that was a big thing. I could be wrong. Am I wrong, Olivia?
You bring up a really good. No, you're right. I agree that like I think Android was way behind and I like had to catch up. You do bring up a good point though about phones pre like iPhone and Android phones, because I had a flip phone that had Tetris in it, and then every time I broke my phone, I had to rebuy Tetris, and I bought Tetris 7 times in high school. I just kept buying Tetris, and I got really good at Tetris, y'all. And then I got a DS, and I got Tetris DS, and then I was like fucking godlike. And I still have those. I'm not as good as Tetris as I was before, but I played a lot of Tetris on the phone. Phone Tetris is good.
It's funny you say this because I remember being in middle school maybe, and this was like the first time I'd been exposed to games on a device that wasn't like a Game Boy, because we had Palm Pilots that you could check out. Shit. And the Palm Pilots had like Snake and then Brick Dude on them, which was just like really very, I don't know, but I just remember being 13 and spending tons of time playing Brick Dude.
Do you remember when the iPad or iPods came out? They would have like the little games on those as well. Like that was definitely my first experience like on a non-gaming.
Breakout.
Yeah. Or like the parachute one where you're supposed to shoot the parachute man.
Oh yeah.
Specifically. Anyway, that was like my first experience on playing a game on a non-gaming console thing, because I didn't have an iPad or anything.
This is a tangent, but did you guys ever have like a smart, I don't know, like a graphing calculator that you hacked?
Yeah, with the TI-89s that had the games on it.
Yeah.
I saw my friends had them, and I was like fucking with them. And I'm like, I'm so jealous. My Casio can't do shit. My Casio sucks. I wish I had a TI.
Oh.
I know. Sad. I got my
That
Tetris,
was.
though.
I remember my high school tried to ban playing games on your calculator as if you could do that, and so there was like an illegal trade going on of people like uploading programs to their TI-89 graphing calculators, which was like Tetris and Snake and whatever kind of stupid. See, we are the gaming 1%. We're the real gamers. We remember the way it was back in the day when you had to upload unauthorized software to your TI-89 graphing calculator.
Exactly.
Oh. Well, we've come a long way since then. You know, mobile games are still a thing. Mobile games are still a huge thing. We see a lot more often now that, I mean, shit, stuff's coming out on mobile all the time. Look at Donut County. That just came out, and that's, like, great on mobile. And you can play it on console, you can play it on PC. Like, you know, a lot of stuff is now getting ported to mobile devices. There's a lot more parity between mobile and other games. I kind of feel like this started around the time that Minecraft became a thing, and Minecraft Mobile was a huge sort of pioneer of handheld gaming, and I'm pretty sure you can play PUBG on your fucking iPhone now if you want to do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but you sure can, because you could do that with Fortnite too. And you could always tell who those people were in the lobby because they were spinning around in circles and not really able to aim.
I mean, I think you bring up a really good point about like I would not play Fortnite on my phone, but that is a lot of people do play the game that way, and it seems like like the phone as the like platform, everything can go to the phone now. Like I think that's kind of where we're heading, and that's a little scary. It's kind of terrifying, but also kind of cool because you can actually play Fortnite on the go.
Yeah, and now recently we had seen that Sony had made the PS4 controller works now with Apple devices, so you can use your PS4 controller on your iPad to play Clash of Clans if you want to. Or whatever Clash of game you're into these days. I don't know. I'm not keeping up with what the kids are into.
It's all auto chess now, which I can get into.
I actually, you say this, but I want to get into auto chess because I went through a Dota phase, and now I feel like I have to get into auto chess to justify the amount of Dota merchandise that I bought, so that I can like come back around full circle and still be authentic. Not like my authenticity was in question, except with myself. So I have a very important question for you guys when it comes to the topic of mobile games. Mobile games, they started out this way and still kind of are this way. A lot of them are total, absolute, unredeemable bullshit. But we love them because they taste good and you can lose hours to doing the same repetitive stuff over and over and over again. You know, we've all been there. I'm sure we've all done that. So when you're thinking about the kinds of mobile games you've played in your time, in your years, your sage wisdom of the ages of mobile gaming, what's some of the bullshit that you've had to deal with, but that you've secretly loved the whole time it was spoon-feeding you that trash? I know you have it. I, like, to just give you a thing, I was thinking a lot about Pocket God. Do you remember Pocket God when it came out? That's like one of the very first, I remember like iPhone games, it was animated and it was very, very bad. And it had some very bad themes and it's dealt really poorly with colonialism and stuff like that. Don't recommend it. But when I was in high school, I played a lot of Pocket God, and pretty much everybody did too. And I'm not proud of that, but I just telling you the truth. I played a lot of Pocket God.
Have you guys played Fire Emblem Heroes? Can we talk about gacha games?
Yes.
Is it
a gacha game?
Yeah.
Do you is this the one where you like insert money and it just spits out boyfriends? Okay, great.
So like,
how can I get into this game?
so the mechanics of the game are, I think it's similar to Fire Emblem, which is a Nintendo franchise. It's been on like the DS. Most recently, just came out on the Switch. And it's like up kind of perfectly suited for a phone. You kind of just like do little battles and stuff and touch your phone, and it's great. The bullshit comes in multiple varieties with this game. There's an energy meter.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, if you want to play, if you want to do missions, and like it's a pretty generous energy meter. You have like 100 energies, and then like one mission costs like 2, and then like you can do other things that are like 8, and it's kind of crazy. And then the other major bullshit part is that if you put money into the game, or not money, you can put orbs or whatever into it to get heroes. They give you a randomly selected thing of heroes, but they're all ranked. So it's like, okay, do you want your like bronze hero, your bronze boyfriend, or your silver boyfriend, or your gold boyfriend, or your platinum boyfriend?
Only platinum boyfriends here.
But it's
platinum
a
boyfriends
chance.
only.
Yeah, you have
no one else need apply.
You have no way of actually like saying like, I need this boyfriend. It's more like, okay, put the coins in, and then it's like you can get more boyfriends for cheaper if you do it all. Like, you gotta bulk buy the boyfriends, and then you can actually get the better ones. Yeah, so
this is some good bulk boyfriend surprise mechanics, I would say.
This is definitely surprise mechanics. But the reason I keep going back to it is because there's like, they keep adding shit to it. Like they added a fucking rhythm game to it, like a tap thing to make your like your boyfriend.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, like you gotta tap to the beat, and then your boyfriend will fight for you, or your girlfriend, or whoever. There's lots of characters. There's a dragon. Yeah, there's like a semi PvP mode. I'm honestly not the best at this game because there's one other factor that is you just autoplay. You just be like, hey, play the game for me. Just let it do its own thing and win for you when you're trying to grind through stuff. And that's been my like key bullshit when I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do this other thing, but my energy refilled, so I'm just gonna make it auto battle. Go get my points for me, you sons of bitches. Yep. My boyfriend army. Tyler, it sounds like you've played this game before.
I have. I played it when it first came out, and I played it for a long time. And then so Fire Emblem Fates was my first like gacha game. Like I'd never really played. First of all, let me just say I was really late into the apps. It wasn't really until I got an iPhone that I was like, yeah, mobile gaming, it's actually pretty cool. So that didn't happen for like the last maybe 3 years, or 4 years. Anyway, Fire Emblem Fates was my first gacha game, and I don't know, I was so fascinated by it because I never played anything like it, and I've never experienced anything like it. And I had heard of other gacha games. I guess just name like one other one is Puzzles and Dragons, which I think was the biggest one.
Oh shit, I played Puzzles and Dragons, yeah.
Right.
That was bullshit early on.
And like all my friends were into it, and I was like, fucking Puzzles and Dragons. And my friends were like, yeah, man, I spent $300 on Puzzles and Dragons. No big deal. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And I was like, dude, like, that's a lot of money. Like, I can't. So I was like, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that, because I'll do the same thing, maybe. So anyway, yeah, Fire Emblem Fates, it was a good game, but I kind of got bored of it because I figured out what was going on, and I'm like, okay, listen, so you have your rankings of like bronze, silver, and platinum, or whatever, gold star, but you could get like a gold star person as a bronze, and then like you have to level up your bronze to get them to silver, and like all this other bullshit. And I was like, this is dumb. Why, if he's, if he's a 5-star platinum person, why is he bronze? So I'm just like, ugh, this is not for me. Like, so in the end, like maybe, 2 weeks in, I was like, okay, I'm kind of done and over with this. I love all my boyfriends, but yes.
Yeah. So I have a very important question. How would you both rate the boyfriends on a scale out of 10? With 1 being the worst boyfriends and 10 being the best boyfriends.
There's some pretty fucking good boyfriends.
I was gonna say
like a 6.
There are some really hot boyfriends. I don't know any off the top of my head.
This. I'm gonna get into Fire Emblem
like
now. I'm gonna amass an army of
the
boyfriends.
art is amazing. I'm giving it an 8. So
I don't know how many people have beards. That's the only thing I'm worried about for you, Rebecca, is that there's not a lot of beards in the game. It's mainly like
well, I don't get beards if I go anime. I have to live with
true.
that. I have to. That's the thing I have to let go of.
Yeah, it's like more from like the
fine.
yaoi school of boyfriend
Yeah, it is.
than the beardy school of boyfriend.
But there's some handsome gentlemen in there. I'm only picturing the one elderly gentleman. With a beard, but anyway.
The gentle Instagram heart filter just appears around your head, and he just sort of is in the background, like Tyler.
He's big and strong.
Pay $300.
Yeah.
I remember I had this is only tangentially related, but I remember that I had this friend who was very into gacha games to the point where she was like playing this Japanese one that it was never translated in the West, and so she had to like people were building guides just so that they could play this boyfriend gacha game, and she got really into the boyfriends. And I remember one time her sitting me down and trying to explain all of the boyfriends, and they're very handsome, and they made a bunch of action figures out of them, and so I wish I could remember what that game is called, but now I just think about those boyfriends all the time.
Interesting.
I played a subgenre. I'm sure this is like a genre of games where it's like I can't remember what
boyfriend
it's called.
gacha?
Yeah, but it's like boyfriend, like you're on the phone with your boyfriends and you're texting.
No.
I don't.
I
Remember,
know what you're
I don't
talking
remember
about.
what it was called. Yeah, I like
Wasn't
started
that like
it.
board game from the 90s that was like date night or whatever, and you
my
called
God.
boyfriends? Do you remember that?
So, I do remember that. And I remember the premise of this game is that you get added into a group chat by accident, and then you're in the group chat, and it's all these dudes, and then like you have the option to date the dudes. You have to like build up relationships with them. It's weird. I didn't actually finish it, but I just remember being like, "This is so like it got really popular," and I was like, "This is amazing. I appreciate it."
Mm-mm.
I want to get into that game now. I want to be in the illicit group chat. With
I
the
should look it up.
boyfriend.
I should find out what it's called because it's fucking. I just was laughing my ass off the entire time because it's very corny.
I would say boyfriend gachas are a good, messy, disgusting mobile game habit to get into. Did any of you get really into Fallout Shelter?
Yes.
Because that was my summer, like 2 summers ago, was just Fallout Shelter.
Yes.
On my iPhone.
Yes.
Every day.
All day. Yeah, I spent money. Well, I didn't spend a lot, but like I spent money, which, and you mentioned this earlier, I think, about your iPhone games or it was Olivia who mentioned it. Your games don't like data doesn't progress over to a new device. So like,
yeah,
I've installed Fallout Shelter on my iPhone, on my iPad, and on my PC. And I have spent at least $20 on each platform, like because my shit does not roll over.
You disgust me. You're disgusting. Stop doing it. Stop rewarding people for doing this.
And now it's coming. It's on the Switch, Olivia. It's on the Switch now.
Don't fucking. I played a lot of Fallout Shelter, but I realized when I was like, oh, I fucked this one up. I should reset it. And I was like, wait, you could just delete this, and then it doesn't carry over, and you're gonna lose all your progress. And I'm like, this isn't what I'm here for. I'm not here for this bullshit.
Yeah.
Todd Howard, fix it.
Todd is getting my money, man.
At least let me like if I reset it, give me the fucking lunchboxes back or whatever.
Right.
Like that would be.
I know.
That would be kind. But you don't get that apparently.
I think it was a big cash cow for them, and so they've been unrelenting. Like they're not moving on it. They're not gonna like improve that to quality of life.
Speaking of Bethesda, have you guys tried out Elder Scrolls Blades at all? Because I played a little bit of it.
That game is just bullshit.
It's so bad.
That's
bullshit,
unfortunate.
period.
I wish it was better. I guess I haven't played it, but to hear you guys talk about it, it's upsetting.
It's just like I don't even know. How would you describe it? It's like a city builder. Not really.
No.
It's a dungeon crawler. Not really. There's a story. Kind of.
Yeah. It just feels like a very like you could do a game like, you could do an Elder Scrolls game on the phone. Like, you could just port a game, and I think it wouldn't be perfect, but you could have that experience on there. I feel like Elder Scrolls Blades is just, like, all of the worst trends in gaming, like, in mobile gaming, but with a slight veneer of Bethesda bullshit over it, which ain't great. Like, it's just like, oh, pay money, you got energy, oh, you just gotta swing your sword. Like, there's no like real exploration. You're just kind of going down a hallway, kind of swiping your phone, and then being like, hey, you should try to build the space thing, which takes 40 minutes, which sucks. It just sucks. It's bad. Just like
it is unfortunate too, like, as someone who loves Elder Scrolls and maybe spent a lot of time still today playing Elder Scrolls games, I feel like the concept of the blades and the history of the blades is like a really cool thing to try to explore. And so when this was first announced, I thought like, yeah, like totally, you know what I mean? The blades are really important in Skyrim. They were in Oblivion, you know what I mean? They keep coming up and up and up and up and up and up again throughout the ages. And so, you know, to have the concept of like, hey, this is the building of the blades, you know, you're an original blade, we're gonna have this cool castle and shit. And then it just be like the Skyrim engine where everyone just looks like Skyrim and not really anything else, and then just really a pointless click around half-baked thing. It just like, I don't even know. I wonder how stuff like that gets out of QA, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how as a company they could put something like that out and be like, I feel good about this.
Yeah.
I feel good about the product that I'm putting out. I feel confident about the product that I'm putting out enough to go up on a stage at a conference and say, please put money into our product.
Well, I think about things like Dota Underlords coming out and like other auto chess games where it's like, okay, you're directly translating a game that's on the PC to the phone and it works and it's designed for the ground up for that. And I think that they could have that experience. They would be compromised if they took a real Elder Scrolls game and brought it over, but you could still have that sense of exploration, and it's just such a bummer. It's such a bummer for them to not try to go for that and instead just try to go for what's kind of low-hanging fruit, which will probably make them a lot of money, but I think damages the brand long term.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This podcast is not the episode 19 mobile game / Rebecca talks for a really long time about Bethesda's problems. But one thing that's bothering me a lot lately with Bethesda's output, and this kind of includes Fallout Shelter 2, I think, and Fallout 76 and just all that stuff, is they've gotten into this weird rut of just putting out kind of the same product with a different sort of paint on the outside without any sort of real anything. So, like, as an example, this is how I feel about the Elder Scrolls Online. I was really stoked about this when it came out because I was like, yeah, Elder Scrolls, first of all. But this is supposed to be set, like, in the 1st century, so this is, like, before most of the games, right? Because when you come in through, like, Skyrim, that's 4th century, you know what I mean? So this is very early on, and it's just Skyrim. Everything is the same. It's been hundreds of years, and everything is the same. People are the same, everybody's living the same, the factions are the same, the cities are the same. It's just like, and maybe people don't care about stuff like that, and maybe I'm just the one that's like losing my mind over the lore over here, like, how could you do this to yourself? But it's like, there's always a point where I feel like there's never a payoff, you know what I mean? And that's the bullshit part about Fallout Shelter to me, is there's a point that you can get to at which playing it stops mattering. It just doesn't matter. And
it's completely antithetical to like what I find interesting about those games, where it's like in the actual sense of discovery and like, okay, these places have a history and like they have changed over time and you can normally see that. Like, I think Skyrim does a really good job of kind of giving each, you know, specific zone its own kind of flavor, and then also like having, you know, like 9,000 books that do actually explain history. Like, I've watched, you know, a million Fudge Muppet YouTube videos where it's like, hey, 100 things you didn't know about Skyrim, and I like eat that shit up like catnip, and it just seems like, you know, some of the recent games don't provide any of that, which is sucky.
Yeah, totally. I think I almost wonder too if Fallout Shelter is kind of the start of the decline of Bethesda into kind of ignoring their own subject matter. Olivia, I thought you wrote a really interesting piece about this for the Purposeful Gaming Challenge when you were playing Fallout 76, sort of about how poorly the game handled the concept of like nuclear war and shelters and just like people's pasts and like a lot of weird nationalistic stuff. And if you think about what the vaults were for in Fallout, is a lot of it was being like people were being tested on, they were being experimented. A lot of these were like totally inhumane. And so you take something like Fallout Shelter, which is just like, it's a people simulator, it's fun, vaults are cool, blah blah blah, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't meaningfully engage with its own narrative, which is not to say you can't do that, but that's kind of the point at which I feel like Bethesda sort of just stopped engaging with their own narrative.
Well, and from what I understand, that they made a lot of money off Fallout Shelter. Like Fallout Shelter did extremely well for them. So I could
those
see
fucking lunchboxes, man.
I know.
Gotta buy those lunchboxes.
It's just
Gotta
like,
get them.
y'all need to stop with. I say you gotta stop
I didn't
lunch
actually
boxes
buy lunchboxes.
as I just bought the new Hearthstone expansion for $8. I'm a fucking fool. I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh. Yeah, you can't shame me.
Hearthstone is mobile, right?
I spent $80 on
Tyler,
Fallout, and you spent $80. Well, I spent $60 on Fallout. You spent $80 on
where your lunchbox at now? I still play with my cards, bitch.
They're still there. If I want to go back to them individually.
Oh boy.
I have a question for you, both of you. Did either of you ever play a game called Alpaca Evolution?
No.
No.
Okay. I don't know if you can still download it from the store, but I feel like Alpaca Evolution is a very special game that I would like to bring to both of you because I feel like you will appreciate the fact that I want to say it was a Korean mobile game. I don't know. It was from an Asian country. I want to say it was Korea, but I could be wrong. And essentially the gist behind Alpaca Evolution is that you start out with a bunch of alpacas. And they have human faces for some reason. And then the alpacas, over time, you take care of your alpacas, and then they eat other alpacas, and they gradually turn into more and more cosmic horror creatures of just, like, faces and alpaca parts, and it was, like, super upsetting and disturbing, but I remember it was everything for, like, a really brief window of time, and it's just a really special, horrible experience that I wish that I could share with everybody here.
I would also like to experience this horrible game. It sounds amazing, to be honest. You told me about, like, you're describing the llama or the alpacas as it went on, and I was like, okay, human faces, that's really weird. And then you're like, and then they, like, evolve and go more abstract horror, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
It goes to the level of like I don't know if you guys have seen I'm sure you have, the Garfield, like,
yes, I
don't know, like, hello John, whatever, where he becomes like an increasingly evil thing. That's very much what happens with the alpaca. Like, I'm gonna put this up to my camera so you can see it and we can link pictures.
Oh god.
Oh
god.
Oh, that's good.
But like and then you collect different horrible, awful alpaca creatures. Anyway.
Wow.
I don't even know if that game counts as bullshit. I just played it for a really long time and found it very upsetting when I was a teenager and would like to share the horrible alpaca misery with everybody here.
Y'all, I forgot about one thing with Fire Emblem Fates. I forgot They have a summer promotion right now where you can get the same heroes but in bathing suits.
Oh, shit.
Yay!
Yeah, I was looking at my phone to being like, okay, what mobile games do I play? And then I got this big notification at the top where it's like, the Fire Emblem swimsuit thing is on sale. Jump right in. And it was just like all the characters in swimsuits. And you get one free character in a swimsuit. So just wanted to make sure I touched on that. Fire Emblem swimsuits are available.
We are now sponsored by Fire Emblem.
Look at this guy. He looks so awkward. He's so uncomfortable in a bathing suit. But that's why I find him endearing.
He looks like those videos online that are like, how to make your butt look bigger in a photo. And it's like, put one leg out, turn back to camera.
But he has no ass. Like, he has negative ass in this picture.
He's a straight boy. He has no ass. It's all flat. These pictures remind me...
He don't got the booty.
He does not have a booty. No. This reminds me of Free. The I Want to Be Free.
Yes, yeah. Oh, make us free. I loved Free. Sorry.
It's a great anime if no one's ever seen it, but you know.
It's a great anime. One day we'll start our anime side podcast.
Should talk about that. It'll be our first thing that we talk about. But I might reinstall Fate Emblem Heroes.
I hope that if anything comes out of this podcast, it's that we're all going to get really into Fate, like Fire Emblem Fate's night right now. We're all going to get boyfriend gotchas, and they're all going to be in their swimsuits, and then we can rate all of our boyfriends, and we can share them, and that's really what I want out of this.
Does Donald have a swimsuit, but he's still wearing his pot on his head? That's his name, right?
I don't have Donald, and I don't know if you listened to the latest Waypoint cast, but they're talking about like having sex with Donald, and they're like, "Wait, is Donald actually 18?" And then there's a very awkward moment. So I don't know if they actually have to. If Donald is actually 18, I hope he doesn't have a bathing suit.
I don't know.
It'd be very
He's
awkward.
a farm boy.
Is he not?
With his fucking hat.
His pot. Yeah.
Oh, it's a pot. That's it.
Isn't it a pot? I think it's a pot because he was the first. He was the first hero I summoned, and I was like, "Oh, look at this boy."
You got it in one. You could just stop. You're like, cool, we're good now.
He's cute.
Right?
He's super cute. It doesn't say how old he is, though.
Y'all,
on the wiki.
He's 18. He's 18.
He's 18.
He's at least 18.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Oh, but look, he's so cute. All right, sorry. This has now become the Fire Emblem.
I think all of us at one point have played Pokemon Go. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you guys still
and
playing
are
Pokemon
still
Go?
playing Pokemon Go?
I'm still playing
yes.
Pokemon Go. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're with me.
I got out for a long time, and then they pulled me back in.
They've got fucking Team Rocket now. How many Team Rocket things have you found so far? Because I found 2.
I haven't found any yet.
Get the fuck out of here. You gotta purify some Pokemon.
Sorry.
Quit the podcast. Go find some Team Rocket things.
Can I join Team Rocket?
I think you can.
You can buy their costume.
I guess that counts.
Yeah.
Even though I have to give them money. I don't want to do that.
Team Rocket always gets theirs.
Yeah, well, that's not untrue. So have you been a steady Pokemon Go player since the beginning? Like, are you out there hunting the Pokies?
So I started playing it, and then I was like, this is fucking stupid. There's so much grinding. I don't want to play it anymore. And then I started walking my dog a lot and getting really into Fitbit steps. And then I was like, yeah. And then that was my like, well, I might as well be playing Pokemon Go. And then there was a stop, right? I used to work in downtown Chandler where there was like easy access to like 10 gyms. And then that was the start of the end where I was just like, all right, I guess I'm going to get all these gyms and actually defend all these things. And then I've just been playing continuously for like the last like 2 years. And it's been really bad. I've almost got all my quests done. Like I play every day, but I don't like, I haven't done like any raid groups. I don't like really go for IVs or like get my best movesets, which I should be doing. But I'm like, this is just so much work. Pokemon Go is a chore that I continue to put on myself as a second job. What about you guys? How long have you been playing?
Shoot. I remember downloading the app like the day that it dropped. I was out with a friend. We were like at dinner, and so we downloaded it at the restaurant, and then it was like us and a lot of people going through a shopping mall, like getting Pokestops and stuff, and it was really cool. And like people were doing perfumes and lures and shit everywhere because it was like new and the servers didn't really work. And I had like 800 Pidgeys by the time I was done, and I think I still have 800 Pidgeys. And then after a while, I started working at a place that didn't have a Pokestop near me, and I was like, so I don't know. It was like, it was kind of all that I was doing. And now the place where I work, our office is a gym. So that's become very fun for me. Although I still have to like, Olivia, I don't know if you find that you're doing this, and Tyler, you maybe as well. But like, there are times when I run out of Pokeballs and I think to myself like, oh, I got to find a Pokestop. I'm going to drive over to that Pokestop and I got to spin that. And then it's like, what am I doing? What have I done? I can't let it take me like this. I can't drive to Pokestops. This is terrible.
I did a bad thing, and I put my like friend code out there. Just be like, add me. Whoever it is, just fucking add me. And so I've got like 75 friends. And so they've just been my...
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've just been my item. Like, I just asked them for... Well, they just send me shit. And I'm like, yes,
what?
give me the Pokeballs. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, like, you know, they can send a gift every day. So then I just get a bunch of gifts. And I'm like, ha ha ha, finally. Yeah, so just put your shit out there because, like...
Olivia the Kingpin.
That's what I did.
Queen Pin.
I know, right? Well, then I kept having to put, like... that led to me getting to, because I kept my space filled up, and I was like, fuck, okay, I guess I have to go get gyms to get my bag filled up. And it's just been this cycle of hell where I'm like, all right, gotta throw away Pokeballs to get more Pokeballs. And it's gotten me thinking bad things. I installed an IV reader. I've been like kind of Pokemon Go is fucked. When you really think about it, Pokemon Go, you're sending your Pokemon, you can grind up into candy. That's my headcanon, is that we're literally turning them into candy.
You're not wrong.
That's true. I forgot about that.
And then you feed those candies
and
to your it's all cannibalism.
Ah!
It's not even like
It's
eating
terrible.
other Pokemon. It's like the same Pokemon eating the same one of its species.
Right. But I'm going to
It seems almost like an insult to injury that the Pokemon has to be first turned into candy before it could be consumed by another Pokemon.
But I need my Melodic. My Feebas will evolve eventually. I'm like 4 candies away, and I'm just so focused on getting my Melodic that I will eventually. It will happen. Tyler, what's your Pokemon Go experience?
I started when, like, day one, like Rebecca, or I feel like it was day one. I wanted to say I might have done, like, the beta, so, like, I played it for, like, a hot second the day before, but it was not what it was when it was released to the masses, because there was everyone everywhere. And, like, at the time, I lived in a college town, and, like, all we did was just went to Mill Avenue, which is where the bars are, for people who don't know, and, like, that was just, like,
Pokestop shit.
literally Pokestop on Pokestop on Pokestop, and all the bars were into it, and they were like, come grab a drink, we have a Pokestop, you know, like, that was a thing. Like, if you stop here, you show us you play Pokemon Go, we'll give you a free drink or whatever, something stupid, you know, or like a discount. They won't give you a free drink, but they'll give you like $2 off your drink or whatever. That was my experience, and like I would just for weeks and weeks and weeks, for like maybe a good 2 months solid, I played Pokemon Go. And then, like, it just kind of died out, because at the time it was only, you know, the first batch of Pokemon that they had released. I don't think it was even all 151. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's true, right? Do you guys remember? Was it all 151, the first gen? Or did they only release...
I don't think you get Mewtwo, because Mewtwo got released at, like,
right.
a special event, and then there were some Pokemon that were only available, like, in...
region-locked,
countries,
Far-fetched, and...
Yeah, you couldn't...
Yeah.
Right. And you couldn't trade Pokemon. Like, they've come a really long way.
Yeah.
In, like, adding Pokemon battles, adding trading, adding, like, the gift system. I remember that being a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
I still feel like we're not there yet. We're not, like, at the point where I'm like, this is a Pokemon game. And it seems really, like, it doesn't have feature parity with, like, a, you know, mainline Pokemon game, which it never was designed to. But I kind of wish that get back to more of that original, like, what I found interesting about Pokemon. And I remember being like, oh, Pokemon Let's Go. I remember when I first saw Pokemon Let's Go, I was like, oh shit, they're actually taking, like, they're making the original game, the actual mainline games, worse because of Pokemon Go, and that made me really upset. And then I was like, well, actually, the catching mechanic's dumb. You shouldn't have to weaken Pokemon. Like,
right.
It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it's just like arbitrary and dumb. But I'm like, now that we're getting closer to the worlds colliding with the new Pokemon Sync Bank thing that you can bring Pokemon from Pokemon Go into the new, like, Sword and Shield, I'm like, I'm ready. Just make Pokemon Go a real Pokemon game. Let us battle in it. Get rid of the fucking candy cannibalism. Let me level my Pokemon up. We can do it as a family.
I will say that the game definitely got me out, and I went places, and I literally, you know, I went to Tempe Beach Park. Hung out with, like, I made some friends at the time. I don't really know them anymore because it was like a very short thing, but you know, it was like we literally would, like, we exchanged numbers, went out and, like, went to go, like, walk and poke a hunt or whatever. And then, like, I would even literally drive to parks that were way out the fuck out of the way because there was a Ghastly there. Like, and we'd go at night, you know, and go to the Ghastly park and, like, catch those. And sometimes a Haunter would be there, and you're like, oh my god, it's Haunter! You know, like, I would just go places that I would never go if Pokemon Go did not exist. And I feel like I fell off because they didn't have everything out like they do now. And I was really looking forward to actual versus players, which I think they have now, right? You can verse people, right? You can battle people.
Yeah, you can challenge people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, that was what I was most looking forward to, but it wasn't available, so I, like, stopped, and then I uninstalled it. So
I saw some meme, and I think it speaks to your guys' experience and my own as well, of, like, the week that Pokemon Go came out was the closest we ever got to being, like, a united people of the world. And
I would say totally. Crimes were getting solved. People were talking to each other. Like, people were going in businesses that they didn't go into. Like, if we could bottle the spirit of the launch of Pokemon Go, we could subsist for ages, I think. As a culture.
I just remember seeing that one video of Central Park where someone's like, there's a Dratini over there, and there's like literally 500 people all kind of like looking at their phones walking, and I was like, this is amazing. The herd mentality has taken place, and not a bad way, but in a good way.
Yeah. They got people exercising, like that's... I mean, it is totally bullshit, but it's still, it's pretty good. That did some good stuff. So, with that in mind, I feel like Pokemon Go maybe spans these two amorphous phases that I think exist for mobile games, one of which we talked about, which is total, absolute, unrepentant bullshit, which there's probably way worse than what we've talked about, but I think, everybody has the bullshit that they like, and that feels good. But then there are those special little mobile games that come out every once in a while, I think a lot more recently than in the past, that are just start to finish great. They're solid. They're, like, amazing. Whether you play them once in one sitting, whether you go back to them over and over and over again, like, the mobile game GOAT is totally a real thing. And I know that you probably both have had your fair share of experiences with the things that made your little phone a little bit of a nicer thing to look at when people are being bullshit on Twitter. So Tyler, what would you say your mobile game, like if you had to pick, and you don't have to pick one, but like what comes to mind, what comes to your heart when you think the like mobile game happiness?
My first mobile GOATY was Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery.
Yeah,
like
good.
That
Good
was one of the first few mobile games that I played that was like that actually felt like it was a polished game, that it wasn't asking for my money, that didn't have any like special gimmicks or like mechanics like energy, that you'd have to buy or replenish over time or whatever, or like would make you wait to play it again or to continue playing or whatever. Although I will say Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery, they did ask you to like take a break because it was like set up in episodes. I thought that was pretty neat because they were like, yo, you've been here for like 3 hours. You should probably take a break. But like you could totally just, fuck off and like let me play the game.
Be gone, game.
Right. But I love that. That was such a good game.
Yeah.
And I feel so it's Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery, and then Year Walk were probably like my first. When I think of mobile gaming, like that's like GOATYs. Like those are my forever and always in my heart. And I know, Olivia, you're making a face, but when I talked about Year Walk, but like it's a good ass horror game, and it's on the mobile.
It's effective.
It's for sure.
It's really effective, and the way that it uses the companion app is still like an inspired use of apps. Like I think that Year Walk, like I know they've ported it to other platforms now, you can get it on Steam, but I feel like that original experience when you didn't really know much about it and you were playing it, and like kind of we've recorded a podcast about Year Walk. We've talked about Year Walk together.
Year Walk brought us together many years ago.
Yeah. It's fucking good. Also, I wanted to say with Swords and Sorcery, I've bought that on like nearly every platform.
Same.
So I bought it on like iPad, on like iOS, on Android, then on Steam. So I've got like 10 copies of Swords and Sorcery.
Yeah.
That game
Me too.
was a gift.
I know. It got me to Jim Guthrie, which is the musician for that game, and it is just so fantastic. So.
Yeah, it really is. They've been working on a sequel of sorts for quite a while.
Oh, really? I had not known about this. I know that they've been working on a game. I didn't realize it was a sequel.
I think it's, if I remember correctly, I think their last update was from the end of last year. And it wasn't like 100% a sequel, but it was sort of in the spirit of.
I would still love anything spiritual successor to that game. Like no other game. Yeah. I don't know, you guys can maybe jump in. I feel like there's no like knockoffs of Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery. Like there's no one's tried to do what they did and like mimic it, be a different story or whatever, but like still the same.
Yeah, I don't know if anything really has. I remember that was one of the sort of pinnacles of that indie game summer, the one that everybody remembers, where it was like that Humble Bundle 5 or whatever came out, and it was that, and Bastion, and Lone Survivor, and Amnesia.
Limbo.
And it was just like it was a very specific point in time that I've always ascribed Super Brothers to, and that's what I think of.
Yeah, those are great.
Oh well, one day we'll capture Indie Game Summer again. Maybe I hope. I don't know. Olivia, what would you say your mobile game GOAT is?
So this is really difficult for me. I do want to say, starting it off first, Hearthstone's still fucking good. Y'all should be playing Hearthstone. It's like,
do you prefer to play it on your phone or on your PC? Because I've thought about getting into it on my phone.
I like it.
My phone is here.
I like it on my PC because there's like tracking apps that you can use, and Android does have support for like, hey, if you want to like track your deck and like just figure out what you're doing. And there's like a lot of things that I use on the PC that make the game a little easier for me in terms of like tracking statistics. So I would prefer to play on the PC, but like getting back to the idea of like your account syncs, it's like sometimes I just want to lay in my bed and like play a couple games and not think about it and not take this seriously. But the progress they make there still carries over, which is great. Like that makes me want to keep coming back to this game. And like I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena, and like there is no phone app. And like I installed a Steam Link. I like set up Magic the Gathering Arena through Steam and then used Steam Link on my phone to try to play because I wanted to get those dailies, and it wasn't working. And I was just like, this. Oh. It was really a bummer. It was really devastating. Like it did work, but there was some issues with it. So got that out of the way. Hearthstone's trash, but I love it so much. I did want to talk about. I had 2 games. I mean 3 games, but I'll be quick about them. Deus Ex Go and Lara Croft Go. And Hitman Go.
Tell me about these. Tell me about these. I've had these in my wish list for like 100 years.
So they're puzzle games, and I think the pinnacle of the series, it starts off with Hitman, which is pretty good. You're basically like, it's a movement puzzle, so you're on a track, and you have to like kind of tell your character when to move, and the enemies will either like move in tandem with you moving, or they're on like different paths, and it's just a big puzzle. So you're trying to get your character to do, objectives, and then also get to the end of the puzzle. So Lara Croft Go is my favorite out of them. I feel like it's the most like focused of the pack, and you're trying to move from one point to another while you're being chased by like giant Komodo dragons, or like there's chains like blades everywhere, and it only moves when you move. So there's like a lot of like, okay, I need to plan my moves at like 10 points in advance, and then like really try to figure out the puzzle there. So I just think it's a really fun and interesting game, and it works perfectly for like that. I just need to sit down and do this puzzle like 5 times, and then I got it. Like it just works really well. One of the smaller games I want to talk about was Tiny Bird Garden. Have you guys heard of this game before?
No.
Okay. So
I want to know though.
It's a small game, but I think it's a very small team. It might just be one person. And the whole thing is that you have a garden, and this game is also on Steam now, but I played it on the phone, is that you have a garden and you can buy things, and then birds come and they like are fucking adorable.
It's Neko Atsume, but for birds.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's like all of the writing is just really funny. Like they just like have like, oh, this bird tries his best every day, and I'm like, you are trying your best. And I feel like, or like this bird calls his mom all the time, or like this bird wants to be a comedian, and like you can buy them little hats, you can make them wear little hats, you can make them little outfits, and like I know
it's really endearing.
It's so cute, and I know that like for me, I was having like a kind of I think we all deal with mental health issues. I know that for me, I was like feeling just like very down, and this game made me just feel like everything was going to be okay. Like you can play with my partner being like, okay, we need to see the next bird, and I need to like set up a little guitar for my bird so I can play the guitar, or like just kind of hang out. And it's just so fucking cute. And I know it's really popular, I think, on like Tumblr and other platforms like that, but I'd never really heard it in like the mainstream games press. So if you get the chance, it's free, and like you can kind of just like have a really chill time with Tiny Bird Garden. So yeah, it's very cute. I want to
have a chill time with Tiny Bird.
Definitely.
One looks like a little sweet roll. It's got a little sweet roll.
What?
On its belly. Yeah, it's super cute.
I'm gonna download this. Is it free to play?
Yeah, it's free to play.
Okay.
So
I'm doing this.
Surprise mechanics?
I mean, there are like, you can buy like, I think they try to be very upfront with like, hey, if you want this to go faster, you can do that. But it's kind of like a meditative experience where it's like, okay, I need to wait for the birds to show up and put out my bird seed. And then it's like, if you want it to go a little faster, you can do it that way. Rebecca, what is your mobile game GOAT?
So I have 2, one that I think we all sort of share, so I'll end with that one. But I I spent a while trying to figure out what I really had a lot of good memories playing on mobile, and I always kind of come back to those experimental games, Plug and Play and Kids. They're two done by the same team. Plug and Play was originally based on a short film, and then they made a game version of it. And they are, at the surface level, they're very bizarre. Like, they're very surreal, black and white. Like, not a lot of stuff makes sense. Why are things happening? There's no dialogue. There's no real story. They take, like, 30 minutes or so to play. But I feel like the touch, like, they use the mechanic of the mobile device of a touchscreen to convey the story and convey kind of what they're trying to talk about in a way that you can't replicate as well on another platform. Like, Plug and Play for sure. I don't know about Kids. I think Kids is too, but I know that they're available on the PC. You can get them on the itch.io store. But there's just something about the touch capability, and that's something that I always get really excited about, is when a mobile game really uses the medium to tell the story in the only way that it really can be told. And so, for something like Kids, which came out earlier this year, a lot of it has to do with like following a crowd and social dynamics and how people interact with each other, how people make decisions based on what other decisions people are making. And so, to be able to make those in real, like, to be a part of making those decisions, to be like the physical act involved in making those decisions, I don't know, I think those are very effective. And I think that they're not, I just don't think you can tell those stories as well without the touch mechanic. And so that is also the same thing that I have in mind when I think about one of my other favorite mobile games that I think we all really loved when we played it, and that's Florence. Mm-hmm. Like, that is a game that uses its medium in the best possible way. The act of being involved in that storytelling, the act of the little mini games that you got to play to kind of move that story forward and be a part of these two people falling in love and falling out of love. I think, to me, that's like a pinnacle of mobile game design. That's what sells the genre, and like that's what sells the capability of telling a story in a bite-sized format, with just a simple little clicks.
Yeah. The design of design of Florence is stellar. It's fantastic. I cried at the end, or it's just like I just was so overwhelmed with emotion at the very end of it, and it was so simple. It was a very short, experience, and totally worth the money. Mm-hmm. Like, just I want more games like that. I just do. Like, please.
Yeah.
Well, and even just beyond like a mobile game, like having neat mechanics, I think the writing in that game just fucking kills in a way that it's understated and like actually has something to say about relationships and moving on and letting go, which I think a lot of media that concerns love doesn't really want to engage with that stuff.
And with no words even, right? Like, I don't think there's one word, and you just get it. You're like, oh shit, like this is what's going on.
Yeah, because it's a very universal experience in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that you understand totally, just without, it doesn't have to be spelled out for you.
Totally.
I don't know. That's why I'm a big believer in the touch as like it's a special kind of medium. You know what I mean? Because I think the physical act of being a part of a game, a virtual experience, can tell stories in ways that you can't always do if you're at the end of the controller or you're at the end of a mouse or something like that. So. I mean, I don't know if really my finger really is that powerful, but, I think it definitely creates a sense of...
You couldn't put that picture back together. You just can't do it. You just have to
I couldn't have done it. Not the mouse. Yeah, mobile games are pretty good, I would say. They're pretty okay. Some of them are really bad. A lot of them are really bad. Actually, most of them that are probably created and are really bad. But some of them are good. And, I think that the benefit of having them is you have your phone with you all the time. So why not have something you can just check into every once in a while? See what birds have landed in your bird garden. Give them little hats.
Make them play the guitar.
Make yourself feel at home. Shall we do some salutations?
Yes, please.
So our salutations is a little corner where we like to give a shout out to some things that we are enjoying, along with everything else mentioned on this podcast, obviously. But this is a time to talk about whatever you want, whatever's making you happy. Could be a piece of paper, could be a rock, it could be a Pokemon. I don't care. I'm not a cop. Olivia, do you want to go ahead and start us off with your salutation?
Yeah,
Is there a rock, paper Pokemon? Because if that would be the obvious choice if that was the case.
I don't know if there's a paper Pokemon. I wish there was. Like Gallade's kind of like a... Wait, not Gallade. What's the fucking sword one? The dual sword. God, why can't I remember? It's like 2 swords and a shield. It doesn't matter. My salutation for this week is Discord folders. Y'all, Discord folders are so fucking good.
Discord, finally, listen to us. Oh, God bless America.
So I have a problem where I'm like, I want to stay in the know. I want to know everything about everything. I want to know things about all the video games that are happening, and Discord's a really good place to do that. I did this once where I joined like 20 Discords, and I was like, this is just too much. I can't keep track of these. I'm feeling overwhelmed, and they're making noises, and I can't stop them. Luckily, with Discord folders, I was able to join like 17 different Discords this week and keep them all in order and like kind of see what's going on. And that has been life-changing, y'all. Just put all my trash Discords into a folder and be like, I'll check this later. Don't need to look at it. I would highly recommend that if you have not checked out Discord folders, you should, because fuck keeping your notifications in order. Be a messy bitch like me, and don't leave your Discords. Just put them into folders and not think about them anymore.
I agree.
Hey, if anybody needs practice, the Greetings From podcast has a Discord which you can put into a folder if you would like.
Put that right into your trash folder. You don't need it.
Just put it in there.
Mute notifications, never see it again. That's what I'm doing.
Yep, it's like it doesn't exist.
That's what I had to implement the folder still. So like all of my Discords that I'm in, they're literally on mute. And like because that I don't want, if they were all unmute, I would have 1,000 messages a day or more. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I learned that the hard way when I joined the CDPR official Cyberpunk 2077 Discord, and it was just 0 to 60, like the worst possible choice I could have ever made. That's in my trash folder.
Yeah. I feel like we all moved, like, we as a society decided that, like, forums and, like, social media were a good place to, like, house conversations. And then somehow Discord came back and was like, hey, motherfucker, you like IRC, don't you? Where nothing makes sense. And if you're not on a 24/7, you'll never be able to keep track of anything. And then that's where we're back at now.
Right.
Like, just...
Basically.
I love it, but it's maybe not the most efficient way to translate information. Tyler, what's your salutation for this week?
Yeah. It's going to be The Great Hack on Netflix. I was going to do something lighthearted and say Stranger Things 3, which you should also watch. But no, The Great Hack on Netflix came out pretty recently. And I encourage everyone who, I was going to say in the United States, but honestly in the world, if you're just a person who can see things, you should definitely watch The Great Hack. Okay. So if people don't know, The Great Hack follows Cambridge Analytica. What's Cambridge Analytica? Cambridge Analytica is a company that formed around user data. So, like, it basically created online profiles of people based on things that they clicked, liked, saw, ignored, what time of day they were on the internet, you know, like, literally their entire internet profile, them as a person. Cambridge Analytica used this data to then analyze, like, things around the world and started to see what they can get away with, and they started influencing elections. And it's just insane what went down. I had no idea how great of an impact that they were. For reference, being an American, 2016 election, they basically were part of the reason why Trump was elected. Not to mention the fact that also Russia was involved, but like generally Cambridge Analytica was completely behind it, and it's a real eye-opener to the future of we people as a society using the internet. And I feel like everyone needs to watch this. Not that there's anything you can really do about it now, but moving forward, we can create protections and rights for people so that, like, we aren't being abused. Because you are, whether you know it or not. Have you guys seen or maybe heard of this?
I saw it on Netflix. I have not watched it yet. I almost applied for a job at Cambridge Analytica around 2015. Yeah. When I was still in the height of my internet research thing, which obviously I don't do anymore. Now I'm into communities and IRC chat, so it's just weird.
I haven't heard of this movie before, but I'm super excited to watch it. It seems like exactly my shit.
It kind of flew under the radar. Like, I mean, it's raised a big, stink. I think more and more people are starting to like catch on and watch it. But like, yeah, I didn't really know about it either until like Netflix was like, "Hey, this is the thing," and I'm like, "Okay, what is this?" And I think I specifically watched because someone was like, "Oh, that new horror movie? That's not scary. The Great Hack is scary." And I was like, "Oh, The Great Hack, horror movie, really? Let's go watch this." And then I like realized that it's a different kind of horror, which
it's existential horror.
It's a little too real.
Yeah, too scary for me.
But yeah, it's a very good documentary. So you should definitely take the 2 hours out of your day to watch it at some point. So,
cool.
Rebecca, what would be your salutation?
So my salutation for this week is honestly one of the best games I've played this year. Dragon Quest Builders 2.
I saw your Instagram post. This game is for perverts and perverts only.
It actually, I mean, yeah, kinda. There is a whole mechanic where I had to build my little village a bathroom, but they only get one, so there's a line for the toilet, and I have to go collect the stuff out of the toilet in order to make like fertilizer for my crops and stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So I'm someone who does not really care about the Dragon Quest proper series. I never played it. Whatever, doesn't mean anything to me. But I played Dragon Quest Builders 1 originally on my Vita. I thought it was great. I played it, and then I got tired of it for the same reasons that pretty much everybody cited, which was the mechanic was you would go to an island, you would help the people there, and then everything you did wouldn't matter. You would just say, poof, goodbye, and then you would go to the next island, and you would never really go back and forth. There was no real continual stuff, like you'd lose some of your recipes that you'd earn to build things and whatever. Dragon Quest Builders 2 basically fixes everything that was wrong with Dragon Quest Builders 1, which is kind of amazing that they did that, at least in my opinion. And, now your progression matters. Now the people that you're helping, the people that you're building for, the people that you're taking care of learn from you, and they'll start to take over tasks for you. You could put blueprints down and they'll build for you. They'll take care of your shit for you. It's great. Like, it's really good. The plot of Dragon Quest Builders 2 sort of loosely follows the plot of Dragon Quest 2. And you live in a world in which building is illegal. Like, it's a sin because the world is ruled by, like, creatures of destruction, essentially. And so you are someone who is a builder. Everybody tells you all the time that you are an ungrateful heathen and you must stop your sinning ways or be destroyed. But then they realize, oh, we like having a roof. We like having a bed. We like eating
Where do
food.
they poop without you? If you were the first person to build a toilet, where do they poop?
So it's funny that you say this because the whole poop quest involves somebody asking for this. So you build them a bathroom to their specifications. And then like you go back and you talk to this guy and he's like, I'm so glad I don't have to, and he like doesn't want to talk about what he had to do. And he's sort of like, I'm so glad I don't have to go like run into the forest because all I eat is cabbage. Like that's literally what he talks about. It's like, all we eat is cabbage. I really don't want to have to go run. And then it's like the reason why he wants the bathroom is because somebody saw him pooping in the woods.
No.
Nobody wants that.
After eating all of the cabbage. Yeah, like this game will tell you all of the details.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All they have is cabbage. It's a really terrible way to live. Sorry. I can't imagine what their insides look like if all you eat is cabbage. It's too much roughage. But yeah, like if you're somebody who likes the concept of Minecraft but not the execution of Minecraft, like Minecraft could be lonely and kind of boring. But like if you're like, I want to build stuff and explore things but also have people to talk to, may I present Dragon Quest Builders, where there's quests, there's things to see, there's people to talk to, there's like I'm almost done with the first island, and there's like a really meaningful kind of heartfelt quest in this whole area, and this is only one of several, so like there's still a whole, like I've been playing for hours and hours and hours, and there's still a huge game ahead of me. You know, you can have a dog, you can pet the dog,
It's important.
Dragon Quest Builders 2 is great. It's made me very happy, and I can play for hours at a time. Anyway, I really recommend it to everybody to play. It's so good. All right. Well, on that note, I think that makes a ding dang podcast. How about that?
Perfect.
I'm gonna go play some mobile games now.
I'm
gonna go download the Gotcha Boyfriend game.
The swimsuit boyfriends.
Swimsuit Boyfriends. Love it. All right. Well, this has been the Greetings From podcast. You can find us wherever podcasts are hosted, such as Apple Podcasts, Simplecast, Spotify, and more. Send your questions to greetingsfromcast@gmail.com. You can visit us online at greetingsfrom.zone. You can call us on the phone if you want to do that too. Or you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We stream every Friday on Twitch. Most places we're Greetings From PC because usernames are hard, and a lot of places only let you have like 10 characters, and that really blows if you ask me. My name is Rebecca Faye, and you can find me at Rebecca Faye. Olivia, where can they find you?
You can find me at LiveJQ on Twitter. Tyler, where can they find you?
Find me at World Jumpin' on Twitter.
Surprise Mechanic Boyfriends, here I come! Congrats, gamers! You made it to the end! Thanks for listening to the Greetings From podcast. Our intro and outro song is an edited version of Deep Fried Space Food by Substitute Sandwiches. You can find a link to the song, along with links to all the stuff we talked about this week, in the podcast description. Find us online at greetingsfrom.zone, where you can listen to more episodes, find out more about your dangerously good-looking and charming hosts, and catch up on our blog. You can also follow us on Twitch and Twitter at greetingsfrompc. Send your questions, messages, or anything you'd like to greetingsfromcast@gmail.com or call us direct at 347-642-6377. Until next time, happy playing!